Hello and welcome again. You're watching the morning news show on CNN News 18 and I'm Sakshi Singh Litoria. Over the next 1 hour, we'll be bringing you all the details and headlines from the nation and across the globe. At the top of this segment, some breaking news now coming in with regards to the elections to be held in Jammu and Kashmir. Well, we are learning that Election Commission is going to announce the dates for Jammu and Kashmir today at around 3 p.m. The dates for Haryana polls are also likely to be announced today itself. We'll bring you more details with regards to the word that we have received straight from our sources from Election Commission. But as of now, the big update at the top of the segment would be the announcement coming in from Election Commission to announce the dates for the Jammu and Kashmir elections at around 3 p.m. today in the same press conference. In fact, we are expecting the dates for Haryana polls also to be announced. We have our senior editor Pallavi Ghosh joining us live on the broadcast as well. Pallavi, a very good morning to you. Please walk us through all the big details with regards to the preparedness and the announcement that we are expecting from the Election Commission today.
So the Election Commission has officially made an announcement that at 3 p.m. today, there is going to be an announcement of the poll schedule for legislative assemblies. As of now, no clarity has been given by them officially, Sakshi, on which are the states which are going to announce the poll schedule. Remember, the states which are coming up for grabs is Jharkhand, Haryana, Maharashtra and Jammu and Kashmir. In all likelihood, it is, of course, going to be Jammu and Kashmir. See, before the schedule is announced, the Election Commission team actually makes a recce of all the states where the elections are to be held. And to see about the poll arrangements, the security arrangements. Mind you, all the states which are going for elections are considered to be sensitive, particularly Jammu and Kashmir. It's going to be the first election there after abrogation of Article 370. 5th August was the day when yet another anniversary of that abrogation was announced. And this is an election which everyone is looking forward to. During the Lok Sabha elections, we saw a very impressive turnout despite the naysayers. So that has been a thumbs down to acts of terror. And therefore, the government certainly, and more than that, the Election Commission certainly wants to prove a point, Sakshi, by holding elections very much over there. There have been endless trips which have been done by the Election Commission to both Kashmir, that's the valley, as well as to Jammu. There are areas which are considered to be very sensitive and vulnerable to terror attacks, Shopia, Pulwama, Anantnag, all of these areas in the valley particularly. Additional deployment of forces will be required. More than that, the challenge will be to that they ensure that the people come out and cast their vote. With this, of course, comes a huge question about restoration of statehood for Jammu and Kashmir. So that is one big schedule which we are going to look at. There are multiple phase elections which we are expecting as far as the Valley plus Jammu is concerned. Given the sensitivity and the vulnerability of the area. And as I just said, I mean, no clarity officially yet on whether Haryana will also be announced. Maharashtra, of course, has not seen an EC team visiting there. Yeah. So I would hold my horses over there as far as their full schedule is concerned.
Indeed, Pallavi, would request you to please stay on with us. We have our executive editor, Aman Sharma, also joining us on the broadcast. Aman, a very good morning to you. As Pallavi has correctly mentioned that, EC delegation went to Jammu and Kashmir. What were the glaring findings with regards to the phases of elections to be conducted in Jammu and Kashmir? And if you have picked up any information from your sources with regards to the poll announcement for Haryana, Maharashtra as well as Jharkhand?
See, Sakshi, what we are hearing from our sources is that the schedule of two states, in fact, one UT and one state, Jammu and Kashmir and Haryana, may be announced today because these are the two states where the Election Commission of India has already made a review visit. The Election Commission of India is still to go to Maharashtra and Jharkhand. So it is expected that only two states' elections could be announced today. The other reason for this announcement, if it happens the way we are reporting, is that Jammu and Kashmir would require a heavy deployment of forces. In fact, the Election Commission of India, the full team had a meeting with the Home Secretary just a few days ago. And in that meeting, it was discussed that maybe around 700 companies of forces could be required for the election in J&K. 635 companies could be required for deployment. And another 70 to 80 companies could be required for the security of candidates. So this huge deployment which is required would make it difficult for the Election Commission of India to also hold an election simultaneously in Maharashtra, which is also a big state, also Haryana and J&K because they are geographically located nearby. So it will be easier for the Election Commission of India to hold an election simultaneously because Haryana will be a single phase election most probably. So Haryana and J&K could go to polls together. This is a pivotal moment for J&K because elections for an assembly in J&K will be held after a decade. Since 2014, there have been no elections in J&K. So it is a big moment for J&K. In just the recent Lok Sabha elections, we saw a 58% turnout. in J&K. So the people are very enthused to come out and vote. And there's a Supreme Court deadline also of September 30th to start elections in J&K. So if the schedule is announced today, as per the convention, about 4 to 6 weeks later the elections start. So we could see elections in J&K start in 4 to 5 phases, starting the third week of September, and they may continue till maybe the second week of October, while Haryana will be a single phase election, and Maharashtra and Jharkhand schedule may be announced later because there has been no Election Commission of India visit yet to the states of Maharashtra and Jharkhand.
Definitely, Aman. Please stay on with us. We have Ishan Vanani also joining us live on the broadcast. Ishan, if we were to talk about the security deployment at the ground at this point of time, we have seen a considerate amount of spike in the terrorist activities as well as infiltration bid around the borders. At this point of time, when we are expecting a huge announcement coming in from Election Commission, what kind of security are we looking at the ground?
Sakshi, there are already security personnel who are deployed for the Amarnath Yatra. There are around 400 companies which are available in Jammu and Kashmir, but there is a need for additionally more. We have seen what the situation is unfolding in Jammu, and that will demand security forces to have more security on the side of Jammu. If the situation in Jammu would not have unfolded like it is right now, so you might not have wanted so much of deployment, and that's why there was an additional meeting that was held later on with the security forces in Jammu and Kashmir, where they gave their inputs about the need and requirement that they have, because there was also some apprehensions from the political parties regarding their safety, regarding the increase in the number of security personnel, because this election demands more, simultaneously holding of rallies. There'll be people holding rallies across Jammu and Kashmir in rural areas, in mountainous areas. So that challenge is there. And that's why there's a need for additional security forces. There was withdrawal of the security of some of these, political party leaders or activists, and they would want security to come back once again, because they'll be quitting the field and they will be going to people. So that is where, there's a need for additional security force personnel, particularly in those areas which have seen peace in the past. Now they are vulnerable, particularly Poonch, Rajouri, Doda, Udhampur, and other areas where there's a need for additional deployments to take place. But yes, sources are to be believed that there is likelihood of elections that might take place, just as Aman was pointing out, before the deadline that was set by the Supreme Court of India. And the elections would happen firstly in the mountainous and remote areas which have challenge of snow, weather, climate, because there's a conducive atmosphere right now. The weather is good, because within one month or so, it will start snowing in the upper reaches of Kashmir Valley, and then it will cut off will be cut off from rest of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. The Election Commission of India has already demanded the helicopters, because they will need to ferry staff to the high altitude areas. That all points out and indicates that yes, there's a possibility of announcement being made today, because it's been more than almost 10 years since the elections happened. 2014, when the elections happened, and PDP BJP formed a government, and it fell. And since then, there has been no election. But yes, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha has also told CNN News 18 that the timeline that has been set by the Home Minister and the Prime Minister, that there will be delimitation that has taken place. It took some time. Then there will be elections and followed by statehood. So all these things are happening in timeline, and one has to wait and see what kind of announcement does the ECI make, because they came here, got a ground assessment from the political parties, who all in one voice, including the BJP, told them that there is a need for elections and Jammu and Kashmir needs election. And then you have the security force personnel telling them that they have a go-ahead, because the election commissioner later on in the press conference said that not any internal power or an external power can derail holding of elections in Jammu and Kashmir, which sent a positive message to the political parties in the valley, who are now looking forward to this announcement today. They believe the elections could be announced by evening today.
All right. So weather as well as security are some challenges that the Election Commission will have to keep in mind while conducting elections in Jammu.